Hey everyone, welcome back to the Guitar Tales series, where I'm essentially taking you on an episodic tour through my collection, picking a different guitar each time to just give you a bit of a rundown on what it is, what I've done to it, and overall just why it has earned a spot in my collection. In the last video, I started off the series with my very first guitar, my Fender Gemini, and honestly from there, can't think of a better one to do next than this. This is my Yamaha Pacifica 112V. It was my very first electric guitar, and it's really the guitar that simultaneously started my obsession with Superstrats, as well as the soft spot I have for Yamaha guitars as a whole. This was a Christmas gift from kind of combined both my grandmother and my parents. I did not expect it whatsoever, but in the couple months, I guess, leading up to Christmas that year, my dad and I had kind of discussed what would be best as far as my first guitar goes, and we had mentioned the Pacifica before. It had me interested, so getting closer to Christmas, we ended up going on a road trip, and I don't remember where it was actually to, but we stopped at a guitar center, and it was the first time I had ever been to one. And basically my parents were just like, okay, pick out several different budget-minded guitars and play a bunch of them and just kind of see what you like, what you don't like. And then we'll narrow it down from there. So I played a bunch of stuff. I think it was like a couple Squires, I'm sure. I think there was like a Mitchell and a Dean Vendetta, a lower end Yamaha Pacifica. I believe it was probably a 012 of some sort. It was the Sunburst one with the black pickguard. I think there was a couple Jacksons. I remember playing a Jackson Warrior and thinking it was pretty wild looking. And a BC Rich Mockingbird. And it's funny because in the end, I narrowed it down to either the Pacifica or the Mockingbird. Two very, very different guitars. And ultimately decided, yeah, I'd like a Pacifica of some kind. There's times that I've looked back and thought, well, if I had gone with the BC Rich, would my walls be full of like warlocks and who knows what other kind of pointy, crazy guitar shapes instead of super strats? I don't know. Interesting to think that, you know, this guitar really did formulate my idea of what I like in a guitar as well as what I don't like. So yeah, this arrived Christmas Day and was completely brand new, completely stock, looked really nothing like this whatsoever except for the color that it is. This is actually the original pick guard. I don't know if it kind of shows up in the camera. It's still the original white pick guard, 3-ply under here, but my dad and I were talking about how a black pick guard instead of the white would look so much better on this, being that it's already such a light color for the body. The black would give it more contrast. So he had the idea of putting a fake carbon fiber vinyl over top of the factory pick guard, and that was done like the day they gave this to me, and it's been on there since. I've never taken it off. I still really like the way it looks. It's held up pretty well. But yeah, stock, these came with the white pick guard. All the hardware is chrome and everything. They have Alnico 5 pickups, and over the years I have done away with all of that. This now has hip shot, open gear locking tuners, Graphtec string tree. The nut is still factory. I've considered at times changing it out for a Graphtec as well, but never have. Not sure if I'll ever get around to that. All of the hardware has been converted over to black. It's got strap lock, strap buttons, a Wilkinson trim with stainless steel saddles, and a absolutely massive sustain block. The knobs have been changed out, but the potentiometers are actually still original. They come factory with a push-pull to split the bridge humbucker. Although when I redid the electronics, I actually changed it up. So pickups-wise, it has a Seymour Duncan Lil 59 humbucker in the neck, a bare knuckle True Grit, I believe. It's a boot camp series single coil of some kind. I can't remember if it's a True Grit or something else. And then it has a bare knuckle Juggernaut in the bridge. Now, when I converted it, I changed up which pickup was splittable, because I have another guitar that if I'm going to split the humbucker, I rarely do that, but I have it as options on a few of my guitars. If I'm going to split the bridge humbucker, I'm not going to do it on this guitar. I'm going to gravitate towards doing it on one of the others. So I decided, well, what if I split the neck pickup instead? So I essentially have both humbucker and single coil options for the neck pickup, which is a lot more usable for me. I think that's all the modifications I have done. This guitar is essentially example A of my ethos when it comes to modifying guitars that I know I'm never getting rid of. Price, like resale or anything like that, never even crosses my mind. These pickups I got used, except for the boot camp. I believe I got that new. But it has over $400 worth of pickups in it, when the guitar itself is about $300. At least that's what these were new I don't know what they are now, or even if Yamaha still makes a 112V. I know they have like the professional series and stuff now. I have put a ton of money into upgrades on this guitar simply because it is such a personal instrument for me, and I do not regret it whatsoever. This thing is an absolute beast. I don't know in total how much I've invested into it, but in stock form, I have guitars that cost way more than this thing, and this holds up right next to them. And really, this is still one of my main guitars. It plays awesome, sounds amazing. It feels like home more than really any other guitar I have. And I don't know if that's just because I've had it so long. It's always been with me, basically, since the beginning of me playing guitar. I have learned so much on it. It just feels like it's part of me, like it's an extension of me, more than really any other guitar I have, except maybe my Charvel. But when it comes to recording, it's one of my main recording guitars. I don't have to think about what I'm playing. Things just come to me. It's all muscle memory. And you'd think, well, isn't it muscle memory on every guitar? Yeah, but some just feel different. When I'm maybe not quite sure what I'm in the mood to play, I always end up gravitating towards this one just as kind of a default. And majority of what I do these days is either just nonsensical riffing or improvisation or recording my own stuff. But when I do maybe hear something, listening to music, and think, oh, I've never learned how to play that, or I really want to learn how to do that, I usually end up coming back to this guitar to learn new music on. And I think that just comes from my history with it, being that I, in the beginning, learned so much on it that I always kind of go back to that mindset when I pick this guitar up. Things come to me easier if I learn them on this guitar. It's such a strange thing to say, but it's true. And for all of those reasons, this guitar has a very special place in the collection for me. Like I say, I have no intentions of ever getting rid of it. It is still one of my favorites. If I was to pick favorites, that is difficult to do, but I can confidently say this would be in probably my top 5. Funny story, I had kind of a traumatizing moment pretty much upon receiving this guitar. I had never worn a guitar on a strap before, and of course, Christmas Day, my mom wanted to get a picture of me with my new guitar, so I put it on, stood up with it, and did not realize that the strap was twisted on the back. So when I let the guitar fully hang on the strap, it popped off the back, and the whole guitar fell onto my parents' stone tile floor directly onto the jack while plugged in. So I don't know. You can kind of see right there the jack port is cracked. It's been like that since the day I got it. So at the time, I was like distraught that I had just damaged my brand new guitar. But after that, I thought, oh, well, it's just its first battle scar. It's not like it's not ever going to get any others. And surprisingly, I don't think I have really damaged it in any other way besides that, which is kind of crazy since it's such a workhorse for me. I figured that it would get a bit beat up sooner or later. So yeah, that's pretty much the rundown on this thing. That's why it has the 001 numbers on the front of it, is because it was my first electric. That pretty much concludes this episode. I had some recommendations after the first video, so as you've noticed, I've changed some things around. But I'm still trying to figure out how to do these videos best. So if you have any more recommendations, let me know. But thank you for watching. Hope you have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Yeah.